So good morning. I'm out bright and early here in my local area with a camera that's really unlike anything I've ever shot with before. And at first glance, it might not seem like anything too exciting, just a Pentax 645N. But inside, this camera is very different. And I'll go into detail in the video today, but basically just loaded in my first roll. Gonna spend the day, possibly tomorrow, shooting some film through this for the very first time. So last year on the channel I shot with the Hasselblad XPAN for the first time. I made a couple of videos using that wider format and really fell in love with it quickly. And I had a viewer of the channel reach out shortly after, Abdallah, who goes by the name of Pensini. And he told me that he had figured out a way to modify a Pentax 645N to shoot panoramic images. So basically half frame 645, full width and half of the height, 32 images per roll instead of 16. And obviously this sounds incredibly fascinating. And he was kind enough to offer to send me one of these cameras that he'd modified to borrow for a bit. So I've had this for a while now, just other obligations, pretty crappy weather here in the UK. It's just taken me a while to get around to getting out with this. So like I said, that's what the plan was this morning. I'm about 8 images into this first roll, and we're just gonna tour around today and shoot as much as I can with this. It's been a lot of fun so far. I'll tell you about the details as we go throughout the day, just kind of specifics of, you know, what still works and what's modified, but pretty unique camera system, I gotta say. So anyways, just gonna wrap up here, I think. This is a local park close to home, and yeah, just gonna jump in the car and roll with it today. Visit a bunch of different locations, got some amazing mist and fog. Let's see where we end up. Okay, good start to the morning. Just got back to the car. Think I'm gonna head down to the coast now, maybe visit a spot or two on the way down. Got a lot of the day left still. But wanted to just quickly talk about this camera a little bit more in terms of the specifics. So when it comes to kind of the operation of it, it's basically a Pentax 645N. Everything still works as you'd expect and as you should. The only thing you do is you load the camera a little bit differently, and I'll show you when I put in the next roll. But other than that, the auto wind, the autofocus, the metering, the frame counter, everything just works as you'd expect, which is pretty neat considering you know, the viewfinder is masked and the film gate's masked for this half frame 645. But in terms of operation, it's exactly what you would expect when you're using a Pentax 645. So pretty cool. And yeah, it's funny to see the frame counter at 20 on one of these cameras, because obviously it would only usually go up to 16 with a roll of 120. I guess with 220 it would be going higher than that. But yeah, pretty fun so far. Curious to see what these images are going to look like. Okay, location number 2, down here in Hastings on the south coast of England. This location never gets old. It's just endless details to be found here. So gonna spend the next couple hours and coming up on almost finishing this first roll. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when I get to 32 frames. I'm assuming it'll rewind and then we'll load in some Portra. frame over here that I spotted. I mean, this place is endless, but there's one that I'll shoot over here on gold. Actually, you know what? The colors and the light is really nice. Right here. Okay, I'm at 33. And I don't know if this is going to rewind for me. So we'll shoot a little more. This thing is beat up and awesome looking. There we go.
So we'll get into making some more images in a minute here. Just have to take a quick break to talk about the sponsor today, which is Squarespace. This year, one of the things I decided I wanted to return to was writing again, but specifically bringing it back to my website rather than on social platforms. And I've been using Squarespace for my website for the past few years now, and I've loved the platform. If you're starting from scratch, they have a number of professional looking templates or something like their blueprint builder that'll help you build your website in a matter of minutes. But for me, I love how easy it is to customize or expand my site when I have new ideas. And as an example, when I decided I wanted to start writing a blog again, it was as simple as adding a pre-made blog template page and starting to write. But also, I love how easy it is to do things like update image galleries by simply clicking and dragging to reorder, or even adding an online shop with new products. So if you've been wanting to make a website for your photography, check out squarespace.com, sign up for a free trial, test it out, and when you're ready to launch, you can use my link below to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Okay, let's get back into it.
Okay, so this is a moment of truth here. The camera says end on it, which is good. And hopefully the roll, has been used and wound properly. That's good. It's on the take-up side, and it's complete. It's the hilarious thing about doing a YouTube channel with film photography. It's like, you just never know if your day of shooting is going to be for nothing. Okay, so we're going to load in some Portra 400 next, which will give me a little more flexibility. But yeah, you can see on the inside, modified film gate. I'll get a shot through the viewfinder later, give you an idea what that's like. But like I said at the start, other than that, it's just business as usual. Pentax 645. And so far, obviously only one roll into things, but it's been really fun to use. I mean, panoramic camera with some very nice conveniences, just like the XPAN, you know, auto wind, a meter. It's just with this one, obviously getting a smaller negative size, but you're getting more frames. And it actually took me longer than I thought to get just through one roll, you know, having 32 or 33 frames. So it would be like a fairly cost-effective way to do this if you weren't too worried about, you know, the size of the negative. And then when it comes to loading, you load this the exact same way, but I'll show you in terms of where you wind it to. So I'll just get this started here. So normally with the Pentax 645, you have this red mark here, and you're just winding. Normally you would get your start arrow lined up with this red mark, but I've been told that, and obviously what I did worked because that first roll worked, that you have to wind to the first arrow instead. So that looks good. Okay, roll two. love this, the boot. This place, like I said, endless, endless. Love coming here. Putting a lot of faith in this old autofocus system. This is cool. Take a step back. I love how you can get the just kind of the corner of the fishing vessel in with this as well. The scale is pretty neat. So we can get back just a bit. Oh, look at that. Didn't even realize Canadian flag. That's awesome. It's meant to be this one. Okay, almost through this roll of portrait. That went very, very quick. You can fly through frames with this camera. A lot of fun here, but I think I'm gonna jump in the car. Got like maybe an hour of light left. Bomb down, or up the coast, I should say, a little bit and see if I can find anything else before the day's over.
All right, so to wrap up the video, just wanted to jump back in the office here quickly to talk about kind of my experience with this camera now that I've shot with it and obviously developed the film and scanned it and had some time to work with the images. But I will just start by saying that overall, just a ton of fun, obviously, to go and shoot with something that is very unique in its operation. You know, there's no other, at least that I know of, half-frame 645 cameras out there. So even just in that regard, you know, this was a lot of fun to work with. And, you know, the system paired with this zoom, this 45 to 85 millimeter lens, you know, I loved the aspect ratio and reminded me very much of XPAN. But the nice thing is you're obviously getting 32 images per roll, which is a very economical way to shoot. So yeah, overall, just a lot of fun with this. And what's interesting is when it comes to the actual frame size. So I have some of the developed film here. I'll get separate shots of you to show this because I'm sure my camera is going to struggle to pick this up. But this is what the developed roll of 120 looks like. Frame spacing is actually quite nice considering it's yeah, a custom build. And you can see the frame size there. So it's funny, the entire time, even once I saw this developed, I just thought that it was a little bit smaller than XPAN. And what's funny is when you look at XPAN, we have one here again, I'll get a separate shot of this, but when I laid them over top of one another, that's when I realized that, you know, this frame size is actually incredibly close. The XPAN is just a tiny bit larger, but for the most part, aspect ratio and final negative size is almost the same. So that's actually really cool, again, because you're getting, you know, so many frames per roll of film. So yeah, loved that. When it comes to scanning though, what was interesting is I scanned these on my Fuji Frontier. And first off, I don't have a 645 mask, so I had to use a 6x7 mask. And then obviously, since this is a unique frame size, it was a little tricky to scan. So what was happening is I was actually perfectly getting 3 frames per 6x7 frame. It fit in there, and then I would have to go and crop afterwards. And that worked fine as well. It was a little tricky sometimes if the exposures were different. But it worked fine. The only thing is the Frontier is not the highest res scanner, and then you're going to crop down afterwards. So that, you know, the final images weren't the highest res. Fine for YouTube, obviously, and for Instagram and stuff like that. But if you wanted to use this long term, you'd have to figure out some sort of scanning solution for it. I do have an XPAN mask for the Frontier, but it only fits 35mm film in there. You couldn't fit the roll of 120, even though the frame size is very similar. But I also went and reached out to ask some questions about how this was built. Nothing too specific, just getting kind of a general idea for what had to be done to make this, you know, shoot half frame 645. And I was told that first off, it was masking. You know, the film gate itself has a mask on it, and so does the prism viewfinder had to be taken apart. But then it's a combination of modifying the gearing so it only advances half of the frame, and then combining that with modification to the electronics which go to the processor to be able to communicate that with the camera when it comes to frame readout, and you know, the initial advance and the rewind of the film, and knowing when you get to the end of the roll and things like that. So always amazes me that you know, there's people out there who could figure that out, you know, take something like this with an idea and dig into it and figure out how to make that happen. So yeah, so fascinating, and overall, like I said, just a really unique experience and a really economical way to basically shoot XPAN frames, 32 instead of, I think, if I remember, the XPAN's around 21. So had a lot of fun with this. Have this for a couple more weeks. Got a roll portrait in here right now, probably load in some black and white and just shoot with it and enjoy it while I have it. But yeah, fun one to shoot with. Want to give a shout out to Abdallah again, Pensini. Just say a huge thanks for just offering to send this over for me to try it out and test it out. And I'll link to his Instagram below. He has some of his work on there that he shot with this camera, and also I think he shows some teardowns and stuff if you're interested in that. So worth checking out. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Just want to say, as always, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon.